Title: Beloved. Toni Morrison. Author: Toni Morrison was born in 1931, became an editor at Random House, where she specialized in black fiction. Today she works in the Council of Humanities at Princeton University. Toni Morrison was an American novelist, essayist, editor, and a professor. Her contributions to literature were recognized worldwide when she received the 1993 Nobel Prize in Literature. Toni Morrison's writing, one of the most critically acclaimed American writers, Morrison is considered a major architect of a literary language for African Americans. Her work often features black vernacular, black settings, and is focused on blackness unusual for her time. Her writing is considered to have formed a distinctly black literary sensibility while drawing a reading audience that cut across racial boundaries. Morrison's first book, "The Bluest Eye", 1970, it is a novel of initiation concerning a victimized adolescent black girl who is obsessed by white standards of beauty and longs to have blue eyes. In 1973, a second novel, "Sula", was published. It examines, among other issues, the dynamics of friendship and the expectations for conformity within the community. Song of Solomon, 1977, is told by a male narrator in search of his identity. Its publications brought Morrison to national attention. Tar Baby, 1981, set on a Caribbean island, explores conflicts of race, class, and sex. The critically acclaimed "Beloved", 1987, which won a Pulitzer Prize for fiction. It is based on the true story of a runaway slave who, at the point of recapture, kills her infant daughter in order to spare her a life of slavery. A film adaptation of the novel was released in 1998 and starred Oprah Winfrey. In addition, Morrison wrote the libretto for Margaret Garner (2005), an opera about the same story that inspired "Beloved". In 1992, Morrison released "Jazz", a story of violence and passion set in New York City's Harlem during 1920s. Subsequent novels were "Paradise", 1998, a richly detailed portrait of a black Ethiopian community in Oklahoma; "Love", 2003, an intricate family story that reveals the myriad phases of love and its ostensible opposite. "A Mercy", 2008, deals with slavery in seventeenth-century America. In "The Redemptive Home", 2012, a traumatized Korean War veteran encounters racism after returning home and later overcomes apathy to rescue his sister. In "God Help the Child", 2010, Morrison chronicled the ramifications of child abuse and neglect through the tale of Bride, a black girl with a dark skin who is born to light-skinned parents. Themes: dehumanization through slavery, dehumanization of the African American community in the United States before and shortly after the Civil War is one of the major themes of the novel Beloved. Almost all the major characters have gone through dehumanization from the white community. However, the instinct to love in honor runs deep in them. Paul flees to live an independent life and begins to feel human. Dehumanization through slavery. Sita, the protagonist of the novel, too runs away and even kills her own daughter to save her from slavery. Sete and Ale have gone through severe beatings at different plantations. For example, the school teacher's nephew gives a heavy thrashing to Sete for complaining against them. The use of different animals to describe this beating shows the dehumanization process. Naming process. Naming process or process of naming individuals or certain characteristics is another major theme of the novel Beloved. The whites used this process to dominate and exploit the African American community and make them work under their dominations. Naming process. The purpose was to identify their slaves with their personalities. That is why one of the children born to baby sex is named Paul, as Paul D was an intelligent one and was aware of his true identity in his slavery. He feels that they are exchanged and sold like properties. Slavery. Slavery is another overarching theme of the novel Beloved. Most of the characters has to bear the burden of being from the African American community, a traditional community of slaves with no human rights. The novel presents the cruelty and the barbarism meted out to the slaves. They were treated even worse than animals. School teacher, the owner at Sweet Home, abuses them and doesn't see the community as human beings, but as currency and animals. Pauli is treated like an animal when he was chained with an iron grid. School teacher physically abuses Siti after she complains of his nephews of stealing her breast milk. Moral ambiguity. It is truly immoral to mistreat and abuse the black people because they are slaves. It is also true that it is not morally right to kill a child. Sete kills her daughter, beloved, on the fear that she would be enslaved. However, the novel does not resolve this moral ambiguity anywhere in its storyline to explain if Seth's act was punishable or justiciable. Concept of freedom. The concept of freedom and the enjoyment of its fruits is also another theme of the novel. Seth wins freedom by the end of the novel. Ali tries to win freedom for his mother. Pauli too comes to Seti at 124 after becoming free. All of them are enjoying freedom from slavery, which makes up another minor theme of the novel. Analysis. Beloved offers a harrowing look at slavery and its lasting impact. The intensely shocking and moving narrative was written in a variety of voices. It is lengthy, fragmentary monologues which, like the character of Beloved herself, are sometimes ambiguous. Morrison's beautiful language and intense imaginary, however, were rightly celebrated in this classic work. A film adaptation starring Oprah Winfrey was released in 1998. Characters: Seth, Denver, Beloved, Pauli, Baby Sharks. About the novel Beloved. Beloved is Toni Morrison's fifth novel, published in 1987, as Morrison was enjoying increasing popularity and success. Its reception by critics was overwhelming. The book is widely considered Morrison's greatest novel to date. Mythic in scope, Beloved is an attempt to grapple with the legacy of slavery. Morrison based her novel on a real-life incident in which an escaped slave woman who faced recapture killed her children rather than allow them to be taken back into slavery. In the novel, protagonist near recapture follows the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850, part of the Compromise of 1850, which asserted that escaped slaves as property. It could be tracked down across the state lines and retrieved by their old masters. In Beloved, Morrison explores themes of love, family, self-possession in a world where slavery has only recently become a thing of the past. Beloved is the ghost of Seth's murdered child returned for unclear reasons. It embodied as a full-grown woman at the age that the baby would have been had it lived. Beloved also presents a powerful account of the foundation of Black America, the memories of the characters, even the strange supernatural race memory of Beloved, extend back no farther than the beginnings of American slavery. Social background: the institution of slavery destroyed much of the heritage of the Africans brought to the Americans. The novel partially recounts the creation of a new people and culture, a people displaced and forced to forge a new identity in the face of brutality and dehumanization.